I'm slow at this. When I first started, I hoped that nobody saw me, that I knew. Hey, how you doing? In this area, there's a lot of young people. Young people with good jobs. They're the guys with the money. I received a Bachelor of Science, and then I got into the computer industry. I've worked with Microsoft, I've worked with Compaq. I won what was considered the most prestigious award in the industry at the time. In 1990, I was one of the winners of the IBM Winner's Circle, which was given to 20 of the top sales and marketing people in the country. And now I'm helping keep the city clean.
A clip from Redemption, an Oscar-nominated short documentary. Matt O'Neill, tell us where Susan is today and some of the other people you profile.
Sure. Most of the Redeemers are still working on the street, collecting cans. Susan is lucky enough to be living in Atlantic City right now. She's in housing down there. That was her goal. She just got priced out of New York. A New Yorker all her life, and without some sort of subsidy, she wasn't able to afford to stay here. You know, you earlier played a clip from President Obama saying, "Before we were us, we were them." And I think that's something we have to pay attention to in this film, is recognizing that the men and women collecting bottles and cans are just like you and me, and they slip through the cracks. Juan, you said they were invisible. As we were making this film, and you see it, the men and women on the street who aren't collecting cans never make eye contact with the men and women collecting cans, walk right by time after time in every shot. They never engage. And these are our fellow New Yorkers. These are our fellow citizens. And it's not just happening here, it's happening all around the country. And we have to pay attention to it.
And there are a lot of immigrants as well that you profile. Families are collecting bottles. And talk about the whole process, the stage, and also where people live.
So when I started this, I thought that it was mostly going to be homeless people who were working on the streets. And it turns out that most of our can collectors have homes. They are the working poor. So you have Nuve, who is supporting 4 kids in Sunnyside, Queens, with her can collecting. And she's dropping the kids off at school before she heads out to collect cans, picking them up, and then spending the entire night sorting cans with her husband. You have Lily, who used to have a job in Chinatown. And Chinatown's still suffering from the effects of the World Trade Center. All those restaurant jobs are still gone. Lily used to work in a restaurant. Now, Lily's on the street 20 hours a day working. I think that you can't find a boss in this country who wouldn't love to have an employee like Lily who's willing to put in that sort of work ethic and those sorts of hours. I mean, she never stops. She outran John and I consistently when we were trying to film her.
I mean, it's a science how you balance, how the bags of massive number, hundreds of cans, are balanced on shopping carts as they walk through the streets. And then where do they bring them to, John?
Well, they bring them to recycling centers. Any place that sells a bottle is supposed to redeem them. But a lot of places aren't happy to have lots of people dragging clinking, clanking bags through there while other people are trying to buy toothpaste. And so it's very difficult for people to redeem. That's actually the hardest part of their job. And the main redemption center in Chinatown got destroyed by Hurricane Sandy. And it's really put a lot of pressure on these very marginal, vulnerable people. And some of them have become homeless as a result of it. They don't have any place to bring their cans.
And their viewpoint of how the rest of the city treats them, especially the owners of these buildings, and when they go in front of private, it's one thing a public can, but when you go to the trash of a private building, sometimes you can end up with conflicts with the landowners or the supers.
You can, and so there's a diplomatic aspect too. They have to be very friendly, especially with the supers, because if you can basically score a big building and get access to that before the other canners can, that's money in your pocket. So that's also part of their job. It's competitive too. You have to protect your route. If they're collecting cans from Democracy Now! And they're sick one day, somebody else is coming to take those cans away.
What were you most surprised by?
What was really surprising to me is that as a documentary filmmaker, I've gone all over the world, and one of the first places, it's almost a cliche, where we go and where reporters go is you head to the dump. And there's a documentary, Garbage Dreams, that's been made about the dump in Egypt. It's a really great documentary. I went to Smoky Mountain in the Philippines, and those reports were part of the pushing of the Marcos regime out because of the inequities that they showed. And to see this in my own country shocked me.